it's Sky. So I've been having a lot of moms lately ask me, how do you do it? Like, in reference to basically how I am managing life with my four kids. So, if you don't know, I have four kids. They are age 4 to 9, almost 10, right now, and they are busy. They're busy. They're not like kids who have extracurricular activities every single day of the week or anything like that. So I'm fortunate with that regard. But they're busy kids and they've got a lot going on. And I work full time, and I am not fortunate enough to like work from home or work for myself or anything like that yet. So I do have a hybrid job now. I switched jobs. But as I was actually just explaining to a mom just today, actually, I switched jobs greatly in part to the need to be able to take my kids to activities. And so we were actually talking about how we had just seen each other at a birthday party the day before. And so when we were at that birthday party, we knew that we were going to be at this birthday party because it's going to be her kid's birthday. And my I took all four of my kids to the first party because it was a party at someone's house, which is a little bit different. The second party was one of those parties where you have to pay per kid, and I don't always, I don't generally feel comfortable taking my kids to one of those parties unless it's like a family friend, like someone that we're close to, because then typically all of the kids are invited. But otherwise, it's really you've invited one of my kids, and then I'm asking, can other kids come along? But that's a whole nother subject in which I will ask, kind of ask you guys about that, and just ask the public about that because I'm just curious how people feel about that. But anyway, my I've just been hearing that a lot, and my opinion is really just that you do what you have to do, right? Um, I have gone through a lot of different experiences as a mom, and what I mean by that is like there's been a lot of ups and downs and just like mental health issues, I guess you could say, like that I've had to stop and remember that I am a person first, and that I was a person before I ever had kids, before I was ever a wife. Like there was me, there was Sky, and Sky is still present, and Sky is still relevant, and Sky is still important. And so I have had to learn to do that. And so one of the things that I do as a mom, and how do I make it all work, is I make sure I take at least a little time for me. Because if I don't do that, then I find that I'm more short tempered, not just with my kids, but like also with my kids. And they don't deserve that. Like, I think like we have to remember that kids obviously have feelings, have a lot of feelings. But they want us to be sweet and kind and loving and all of that. They want to make us happy, generally speaking. Of course, you have some little kids who couldn't care less. But I'm fortunate that all four of my kids really seek that approval, and they really want mommy and daddy to be pleased with them. And we want to be, of course. And, we are raising them in such a fashion that we want them to make good choices. We want them to be kind. We want them to be helpful and all of those things. But I think that's part of it too, is the way that we're raising them makes it so that I can remember I need to show an example. And if I'm getting short tempered with my kids because I have not taken any time out for myself, um, that's not a good example. So that's one of the things that I kind of feel like is one of those things to share, because like I said, I've been hearing it so much lately, like the past few months, like literally, how do you do it? One mommy was even like, teach me your ways, like just teach me how do you manage all of your kids, because she only has one, and another mom had two. Has like, how did you do it once you had the second one? And it's like, okay, like you just do what you have to do. It's kind of like the whole strength thing. Like you don't know how strong you are until you have to be strong, and I believe that wholeheartedly because I mean, I could tell you so many examples of when you have to be strong when you didn't think you could do things. Um, but anyway, I feel like that's something to talk about, is that we as mothers have to make sure that we take a little time out for ourselves. And so I did tell one of my friends that I will kind of like start keeping a list of certain things that I do and then share it with people, so that each little tidbit can just maybe be something that someone can focus on for that week or that month, and it can make their lives much better. Because I've always set out to like help other people, and if little things that I don't even realize that I'm doing to be helpful are in fact helpful, then I figure share it with more people, because I am a teacher. Like that is I was born to teach, and I absolutely love teaching people. And like right now, of course, this is not really teaching anything. This is just me saying that um I hear people, I hear mamas, and like we have a special talent to get through things. But I think a lot of times people lose themselves in motherhood. And it's really sad, because then once the kids are gone, what do we do? And it's like finding yourself again. And I think I'm very far from being an empty nester. Um, so I don't have any thoughts really about what that process will be like yet, because it's a long ways away. Um, but I'm sure once it arrives, it'll feel like it was just yesterday that I was having my last baby. But I don't want to lose myself so far. I have lost myself. I had lost my way and lost like part of my identity, truly. And like my identity became just being a wife and a mom. And again, I had to like do the work on myself and do the thoughts or do the thinking, so that I could really understand my thoughts and like say like everything about my identity I am really addressing as it relates to me being a mom or me being a wife. And I'm more than that. And like so are you. Like anyone who's a mother, we're more than just a mother. Anyone who's a wife, we're more than just a wife, right? We are ourselves. We are the people that our husbands fell in love with, right? We're the people who birth these children. And if you didn't give birth to your child, whether it was an adoption or a surrogate or whatever, the same can really be true. Like you can still lose yourself in that identity of being a mom, regardless if you had to go through this whole 9-month process of not having your body to yourself. Um, and I think for me, like that's the starting point, is like remembering all the sacrifices that I had to make just to be able to birth these kids. Like once you find out you're pregnant, like no more drinks. And I'm the person who like mocktails. Okay, great. What's the point? Like, I'm not interested in a mocktail. They're cute, but I'm not spending that much money on something that is just cute. Like, no thanks. Which is like a wine cooler. What's the point? That's a waste of calories. Like, give me something that will make me feel chill. Unless it's tequila, because tequila makes me want to party, right? I'm not sure why. But my point is like certain things that I had to give up because of the fact that I was pregnant. One of them, just the obvious one that works for everyone who would think about, oh, you can't drink. Like, yeah, you can't drink while you're pregnant, and I've been pregnant 4 times, right? So we're talking about like 36 months of my life that I have knowingly known I can't have an alcoholic beverage. And then if my husband's like, oh, we're gonna celebrate with an alcoholic beverage, and I'm like, really? Rude. So anyway, I just thought that I would say that because I'm going to share some things that are helpful for me as a mom. And I guess stay tuned, because I'm just gonna think about something and then I will share it, and then hopefully it'll help someone. Like hopefully it will like trigger something in your brain and remind you how valuable you are, and how important you are and how special you are, really, because you have to remember all of those things because you need to make sure that your identity does not get lost in being a wife and a mother, because of course that is part of your identity. If you're a wife or if you're a mother or if you're both, it's part of your identity. It's a big part of your identity, but it is not what defines you, because you were a whole person before you were either of those things. And so I want us to make sure that as women, we are holding on to the truth that is, we are powerful and we are important. And our lives matter so much more than just the fact that we are wives and mothers. Like, we have a lot to offer the world as individuals. There are things you have inside of you that no one else has. It doesn't matter if it's the same concept, your delivery is going to be one in that no one else can deliver it the same, you know? Each and every one of us have gifts, and each and every one of us has talents. And whether you're like me and you feel like I don't do anything, you know, like I used to be able to do this and I used to be able to do that. I do nothing now. Like, I bought into that nonsense. Like, truly, 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 I did. But if I'm just being honest, like, I have already known all of these things that I'm saying right now, but just these past few months of people literally asking me how I do it and like asking for tips. Like, I mean, I don't know, Google something. I don't know how I give you a tip on having like managing your kids. But then like when I talk to someone, I was just talking to a friend the other day actually, and I was saying certain things. She's like, "Oh my God, that's such a good idea. I need to do that." And I was like, "Huh, really?" Okay, yeah, like these are things like that came to me as a mom that I just do or just started doing. Um, but they're not things that I necessarily thought I should share with other people, because I just figured other people are either doing it or doing their own version of it or whatever. But we can't just assume other people are doing it, right? Even if it was something that's advertised, there's people who don't see those ads, right? But I'm just gonna share a little here and there, and hopefully it'll bless you. So I thank you for watching, and I hope that you'll find some value in some of the things that I share. Um, and if nothing more, I want you to find value in remembering and being reminded that you are incredibly special and important, and you have a purpose in your life, and it is not solely to be a wife or solely to be a mother. There's a purpose in you because of you. Okay? So if that is encouraging to you, I hope that it is. But if it's encouraging to you, I hope that you just consider watching some of the other things that I'll kind of help out or have out, and see if they'll help with anything. And of course, like this video and subscribe, so that I can know if this is helpful to anyone. But I know that there's always going to be someone who has helped, even if it's just one person. And if I'm being fully honest, that's honestly all I care about. If like I'll share some of my story with you over time, but if I can just help one person, then mission accomplished. So I'm gonna go before I start crying. But I'll share some of my story with you guys over time. And please remember, you are here for a purpose. All right, now, before I cry too much. Bye.